In just a few years, the most viewed, the most technologically advanced, and honestly, probably the most intensely debated golf tournament in the entire world.
Yeah.
It's not going to be played on pristine, sun-drenched grass.
No, it's not.
It is literally going to be played inside what is essentially a high-tech studio apartment.
Right, which sounds totally like science fiction. I mean, I hear it and I think, no way. But
Yeah.
it is the immediate reality. We're looking at a landscape right now that is fundamentally rewiring what it means to be a golfer, how we even define a golf course, and what constitutes a golf swing.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to a brand new deep dive as two journalists we've spent years covering the intricacies of the golf industry, and we're incredibly fired up for this one.
Oh, absolutely. We have a massive stack of 2025 and 2026 industry reports laid out on the desk right now.
Huge stack. We're pulling market forecasts from Future Data Stats and Grandview Research. We've got deep tech engineering breakdowns from golf.com and Play Better, plus some genuinely mind-blowing demographic studies from the Golf Director.
Yeah, and our mission today is to basically synthesize all of this raw data to understand how three massive colliding global shifts are shaping the future of the game worldwide.
Right.
We're talking about the rise of creator-driven content, the explosion of tech-infused competitive formats, and those upcoming elite equipment regulations.
And look, whether you are a scratch golfer, grinding at dawn to shave off a single stroke, or a weekend warrior just hoping to break 90 without losing a dozen balls.
We've all been there.
Right? Or even if you're someone who just purely likes hitting drives at a simulator lounge with friends and a plate of nachos, these shifts, they're going to dictate how you consume, practice, and play the sport from here on out. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, to really understand the destination of the game, we have to establish a baseline of who is actually holding the clubs today, and perhaps more importantly, who is watching the screens. The demographic makeup of the golfer is changing at just a breakneck pace. And that rapid evolution is the exact pressure point that's forcing massive professional tours to completely tear down and rebuild their content strategies.
So true. I mean, the numbers from the National Golf Foundation, they paint a picture we have literally never seen before. In 2024, golf participation hit a record 47.2 million Americans.
Which is huge.
Massive. But that total number kind of hides the most critical split in the sport's entire history. Because 28.1 million of those were traditional on-course players. But 19.1 million were strictly off-course.
Right, almost 20 million people.
Yeah. That means nearly 20 million people are engaging with golf exclusively at places like Topgolf, or hitting into a digitized screen in an indoor simulator lounge. They aren't stepping foot on real grass.
And that off-course demographic, I mean, that is the engine of the current golf economy. It skews significantly younger, way more diverse, and a lot less bound by traditional country club etiquette.
For sure. No tucked-in polo required.
Exactly. And this brings us directly to a really stark generational divide in how professional golf is consumed. If you look at the PGA Tour's legacy linear TV audience, so the traditional network broadcasts on NBC and CBS,
Right.
the median age of that viewer has been hovering right around 60 to 64 years old for years now.
Wow. And meanwhile, you look at the Saudi-backed Livy Golf League, and they are capturing a wildly different slice of the pie. The data shows that 71% of Levy's audience is aged 18 to 34.
Which is exactly the demographic advertisers are desperate for.
Totally.
And they captured that demo because Levy took a digital-first approach right out of the gate. They basically bypassed the traditional cable gatekeepers entirely.
Yeah, streaming their debut events directly on YouTube.
Exactly, where they pulled in 3.51 million viewers globally. They leaned heavily into shorter formats, shotgun starts, and integrating massive social media influencers to bridge that gap to Gen Z.
It's basically the classic media battle playing out right on the fairways. You have the PGA Tour relying on a 4-hour Sunday cable TV broadcast. And sitting down for 4 hours of golf with commercial breaks, that's basically legacy media at this point. It really is. It's like committing to reading a thick classic novel. You have to really settle in. But LIV and the exploding YouTube creator golf scene, that is the complete TikTok-ification of the sport.
The TikTok-ification, I love that.
It's bite-sized, right? It's driven entirely by the personalities of the players rather than the prestige of the tournament itself. And it's just incredibly fast. And to combat this bleeding of younger viewers, the PGA Tour actually launched the Creator Classic, bringing social media golf creators out to play.
Right, I remember that.
That specific event pulled in an absolutely mind-blowing 4.3 billion YouTube views of golf videos in just 90 days.
Which is just a staggering proof of concept. I mean, it changes the calculus for every single broadcaster out there. LAV is executing the exact same playbook, partnering with massive YouTube personalities like Grant Horvat for Specialized Duel Series.
Yeah, those are huge.
The established tours, they now recognize that the traditional broadcast is simply not speaking the language of the next generation.
But I do have to push back a little bit on the whole death of traditional TV narrative here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because those linear numbers for the PGA Tour are still objectively massive. They average around 3.1 million viewers for a Sunday final round. And LIV, when they do broadcast on traditional TV networks, they average maybe 286,000.
That's true. There's a huge gap there.
Right. So my question is, can traditional networks just ignore all this digital noise and hold on to their massive sponsorship deals? Or is the actual purchasing power, that highly coveted 18 to 54 demographic, migrating so fast that cable golf becomes financially obsolete?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to remember that sponsors are basically the apex predators of this ecosystem. They dictate exactly where the market goes.
Yeah, follow money.
Always. Brands, whether they're selling $600 titanium drivers, luxury SUVs, or wealth management services, they prioritize the 18 to 54 demographic because of their lifetime purchasing power and brand loyalty.
Makes sense.
The older linear TV audience, they provide the volume right now, which keeps the lights on. But the long-term survival of professional tours and their billion-dollar media rights deals, it relies entirely on bridging this gap. They must deliver high-level, compelling golf in digitally native formats that appeal to millennials and Gen Z.
Or else what?
Otherwise, those sponsorship dollars will just quietly migrate to the platforms that do.
Wow. And because the attention span of this new audience has shrunk, the actual physical footprint of the sport has to shrink to match it. You just can't broadcast the sprawling, slow-paced event to an audience that demands instant gratification.
You really can't.
So here's where it gets really interesting. We are witnessing the birth of primetime golf.
Oh, yes. Enter TGL, or Tomorrow's Golf League, pioneered by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy's TMRW Sports.
A powerhouse duo right there.
Absolutely. TGL is essentially the institutionalization of indoor golf as a legitimate, top-tier professional league. They've created a 2-hour, primetime, highly condensed team format played entirely inside a custom-built arena called the SoFi Center down in Florida.
It is the ultimate visual metaphor for where the sport is heading. They're taking a sprawling 150-acre, 18-hole championship golf course, which usually takes 5 hours to walk, and folding it up into a high-tech studio apartment.
I love that analogy.
Thanks. I mean, they play 15 holes, 9 holes of an alternate shot format called triples, and that's followed by 6 holes of head-to-head singles. And to enforce the pace, the broadcast uses a strict 40-second shot clock.
Which completely changes the pressure.
Oh, totally. Plus, the players are fully mic'd up so you hear every strategic whisper.
Yeah.
And they utilize game modifiers like the hammer rule, which allows a team to dynamically increase the point value of a hole right in the middle of the action.
It's like a video game come to life. And the engineering required to make that broadcast seamless. It is unprecedented in the history of sports. To capture the long drives and approach shots, the arena utilizes 18 full-swing kit radar-based launch monitors.
Okay, let's pause on that because hitting a ball indoors is incredibly complex for a computer to read accurately. How does a radar track a golf ball when it only flies like 50 feet before smashing into a canvas screen?
Right, it's wild. It's all about Doppler radar technology. Instead of relying on cameras to take high-speed pictures of the ball, the radar emits continuous microwave signals that bounce off the club head and the golf ball.
Like tracking weather, basically.
Exactly. As the ball compresses and launches off the club face, the radar measures the shift in the frequency of those returning waves. In the fraction of a second before the ball hits the screen, the system calculates the launch angle, the ball speed, and the exact spin axis.
And they use 18 of them.
Yes, TGL uses 18 of these monitors to create absolute redundancy. They have dedicated monitors specifically angled for left-handed players, different arrays for right-handed players, and fail-safes running concurrently. Because in a live, primetime television broadcast, a missed read where the virtual ball doesn't fly on the screen, that would be a catastrophic production failure.
Oh, a total nightmare. But, you know, the real showstopper, the piece of tech that sounds entirely made up, is what happens when they get within 50 yards of the hole.
The green zone.
Yes. The players stop hitting into the screen and they pivot to the physical green zone. It's a 41-yard wide turntable that physically rotates to change the angle of the approach shot.
And underneath the synthetic turf, there are 3 full-swing virtual greens powered by 600 individual mechanical actuators.
Unbelievable.
What's fascinating here is the mechanics of that artificial topography. Think of those 600 actuators like a giant high-tech bed of nails hidden beneath the floor. In real time, the computer commands specific actuators to push up or drop down, physically morphing the landscape of the green.
That is just insane.
Right. They can instantly generate 30 different complex putting surfaces, creating severe uphill slopes, sharp downhill breaks, compound curves. It essentially allows course designers to dream up digital holes that would be financially ruinous or physically impossible to build and maintain out in the real world.
And the brilliance of this whole technological leap is that it isn't just locked away in a billionaire's playground for tour pros. It is aggressively trickling down to the masses.
Oh, everywhere.
We're in the middle of a massive explosion of urban micro-facilities. Places like 5-Iron Golf and X-Golf, they're expanding across the country, backed by serious venture capital. Callaway Golf, which is one of the biggest traditional equipment manufacturers in the world, they took a major investment stake in 5-Iron.
And that investment signals a fundamental shift in the business model of golf, because indoor simulation solves the sport's oldest and most stubborn barriers to entry.
Land and weather.
Exactly. Traditional golf requires massive amounts of real estate. It's entirely at the mercy of the weather, and it demands a massive time commitment. By moving the game indoors and democratizing the simulation tech, you transform the sport into an accessible urban entertainment option that can be played year-round, every midnight, in the middle of a blizzard.
Sign me up for midnight blizzard golf.
Right. The global golf simulator market is actually projected to reach $4.7 billion by 2034. It has evolved from a niche luxury for wealthy homeowners into a mainstream necessity for the modern player.
Okay, so we have this incredible boom in indoor tech, moving floors, and simulation. The indoor game is basically accelerating into the future. But out on the real grass, elite outdoor golf is actively trying to pull technology backwards.
It is.
It's just a crazy philosophical juxtaposition.
It is the defining irony of modern golf. So in March of 2025, the USGA and the R&A, which are the global governing bodies of the sport, they finalized a new golf ball testing standard that goes into effect in 2028. This new standard is explicitly designed to reduce hitting distance at the elite level. They're essentially rolling back the golf ball to protect the integrity of classic, century-old golf courses from being overpowered by modern athletes swinging massive titanium drivers.
And to understand how they're doing it, we really have to look at the testing mechanics. Because they aren't telling players to swing slower, obviously.
No.
They're changing the conditions under which a ball is deemed legal. They increased the testing robot's club head speed to 125 miles per hour and mandated that under those extreme conditions, the ball cannot fly further than 317 yards.
Which is a huge deal for the manufacturers.
Massive. This forces the major ball manufacturers to alter the aerodynamic dimple patterns, intentionally increasing the drag coefficient of the golf ball so it literally falls out of the sky sooner.
Yeah, so the tour pros are going to be forced to hit a slower, higher drag ball. But conversely, the everyday amateur player now has access to hyper-advanced artificial intelligence that was pure science fiction 5 years ago.
The contrast is wild.
It really is. At the 2026 PGA show, Unicor introduced Amy, a voice-activated AI assistant. You literally talk to it in your simulator bay, and it provides conversational, real-time coaching based on an instant analysis of your swing data.
The software ecosystem is getting terrifyingly granular. Apps like iSwing are offering hybrid coaching models, where an AI uses computer vision straight through your smartphone camera.
Just a standard phone camera.
Exactly. And this isn't just drawing lines on a screen anymore. The AI algorithms map your body's kinematic sequence, tracking the exact rotational speeds of your hips, your torso, and your arms in a 3D space, entirely derived from a 2D smartphone video.
It's incredible.
It's no longer a coach just watching your swing and saying, you sliced it. It's like putting your biomechanics through an MRI machine in real time. The AI literally tells you that you have a shoulder misalignment of exactly 12 degrees at impact.
And when you pair that diagnostic software with physical hardware, the skill transfer from indoors to outdoors changes completely. Companies like Zen Golf are manufacturing moving floors called green stages and swing stages.
Oh, I've seen these.
Yeah, they integrate directly with launch monitors like TrackMan. So instead of hitting off a perfectly flat mat, the floor physically tilts beneath your feet to give you dynamic uphill, downhill, and side hill lies right inside your living room.
Which solves the absolute biggest complaint about indoor golf.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've flushed a 7-iron perfectly on a flat simulator mat all winter. I felt like an absolute
We
genius.
all have.
And then the first time I step onto a real course in the spring, I find my ball sitting 2 inches below my feet in the rough, and I chunk it straight into a fairway bunker.
Exactly. You're describing a failure in perception-action coupling, which is a foundational concept in sports science.
Perception-action coupling.
Yeah. When you're on a real golf course, your brain perceives the environmental constraint, like the slope of the hill, the length of the grass, and your central nervous system automatically adjusts your balance, posture, and swing path to execute the action. Flat simulator mats completely remove that environmental constraint. Your brain never practices the adjustment.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Right, so moving floors bring that perception-action coupling back into the indoor practice environment, forcing your body to adapt to uneven lies before you ever step foot on actual grass.
So what does this all mean? I have to ask you, is having a moving floor, a Doppler radar, and a voice-activated AI explicitly telling you that your shoulder is misaligned by exactly 12 degrees, does that ruin the soul, the artistry, and the romance of the golf swing?
That's the big question.
Right. Are we over-engineering the everyday weekend golfer to the point where they forget how to just look at the target and feel the shot?
It is a highly debated topic across teaching tee lines everywhere right now. But if we look at this objectively, we are witnessing the democratization of the performance lab. Think about the economics here. What used to cost $50,000 for a commercial launch monitor and $300 an hour for a PhD biomechanics expert is now accessible via an app on your phone or a local $50 an hour indoor bay.
The barrier to entry is gone.
Exactly. The data isn't there to replace the artistry of the game. It's there to provide an indisputably accurate baseline. The job of the human coach, and look, human coaches remain absolutely vital in this ecosystem, is to translate that overwhelming hyper-specific data into a playable, repeatable feel for the student.
That makes perfect sense. The AI acts as the ultimate diagnostic tool, giving you the raw, unfiltered truth about your mechanics. But the human element, the psychology of the coach, is what actually helps you quiet your mind and get the club face square at impact when you're incredibly nervous on the first tee.
Exactly. The future of golf instruction isn't man versus machine. It's about combining the precise what and why from the artificial intelligence with the intuitive how from the human coach.
Let's pull all of these massive threads together.
Yeah.
Golf is officially operating in a Golf 2.0 ecosystem, and it's a totally bifurcated world.
It really is two different paths.
Yeah, on one side, elite outdoor professional golf is literally rewriting the laws of physics to slow the ball down and protect the grassy traditions of the past. And on the other side, indoor primetime leagues like TGL, AI-powered biomechanic apps, and YouTube creators are stomping on the gas pedal. They're speeding the game's growth up and tapping into a massive demographic of younger players who consume the sport entirely on their phones.
The traditional business model is permanently altered. We're watching a real-time shift from localized, land-intensive, exclusive country clubs to high-fidelity, data-driven, globally connected digital ecosystems. The sport is becoming decentralized, moving from the suburbs right into the urban core.
And this matters deeply to you, the listener. Because whether you prefer waking up at dawn to walk 18 holes in the dew, or you'd rather split a bay at a local simulator lounge with friends on a Friday night, these innovations are inevitably going to shape your next round.
Oh, absolutely.
The gear you buy will be heavily influenced by this data. The coaching you receive will absolutely be a hybrid of AI analytics and human feedback, and the professional events you watch will increasingly fight for your shrinking attention span with shorter, punchier, tech-heavy formats.
The barriers separating virtual reality from physical reality in the sport of golf has really never been thinner.
Which leaves us with a final forward-looking question to chew on. We've talked about the insane capabilities of this technology like Zen's moving floors that replicate the exact biomechanical challenge of an uneven lie, and TGL's virtual environments with 600 actuators simulating real breaking greens.
Yeah, the tech is limitless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if simulator technology continues its aggressive advance, if it eventually reaches a point where it can perfectly replicate every single variable of the outdoor game, we're talking the unpredictable swirling wind, the exact friction of the turf interaction, the temperature, and even the deafening crowd noise. Will there come a day when winning an indoor, virtual major championship carries the exact same prestige, the same historical legacy, and the exact same world ranking points as putting on the green jacket at the Masters.
Man, that raises the ultimate question. Are we fans of the athletic execution, or are we just fans of the grass itself? It challenges everything we think we know about athletic prestige.
It really does. It's been a fascinating deep dive today. If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us continue creating and delivering content like this for you in the future.